Welcome everybody. I hope you're excited. 1 second here. It is the Csffl Week 6 recap show. Holy smokes. I know you guys have been waiting for this. I know you're excited. And we got some really good matchups. So the first thing that we're going to do, guys, welcome. I'm your host, JD. Csffl Week 6 recap show, playoff edition. So we got the Week 6 MVP that we're going to talk about. We'll throw that up right up on the board right there. Vote for your Week 6 MVP matchup, who you think had the best weekend as well. And then we're going to talk about the Week 6 games that we just played on Sunday. Then we'll talk about the playoff fantasy matchups, and then we'll talk about the championship game, and we'll end it on that. But don't forget to vote for your Week 6 MVP. Josh Buchanan, number 88, had 6 catches, 249 yards for 4 touchdowns and 54 fantasy points. Darren Page, number 30, 237 yards and 3 touchdowns, plus a catch for 17 yards, ending with 43 fantasy points on the game. And running back number 38, R.J. Barber from the Dragons, 235 yards and 3 touchdowns, plus he had a catch for 5 yards, ending with 42 points, fantasy points. And then Tyler Glover, number 14, had 390 yards and threw 5 touchdowns. That's 45 points from Tyler Glover. And then Derek Albright, Derek the Future is Albright, throws 368 yards and 5 touchdowns as well, but only had 1 incompletion on the day. Unbelievable by Derek Albright. And then number 80, wide receiver Blaine Strickland in brown there for the Bears. He had 3 catches for 161 yards and 3 touchdowns, which ended with 37 fantasy points, and he did it with 3 catches. So all these people are definitely MVP nominees and considerable, and all of them could absolutely win. But me personally, I'm leaning towards Josh Buchanan, ending with 54 fantasy points and 4 touchdowns. But yeah, you guys take your vote. You can vote and let me know what you think and who you think should win it and why. Okay, and now we're going to get right into the matchups of the weekend. We had the Sharks play the Vipers, and what a great game that was, ending 57-52. Vipers beating the Sharks. The Sharks ended up scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter. Combined, 37 points combined we saw get scored in the fourth quarter. So that was a great game to watch. If you have a chance to watch it, is absolutely a nail-biter right down to the end. I totally thought Tyler Glover was going to bring them back. But Derek Albright and Phil Clemens of the Vipers are just too deep and too strong. Even though the Sharks had a very good game plan coming in, shutting down the Vipers' number 1 and number 2, and their running back slowing him down. Definitely didn't shut him down, but slowed him down in the first half of the game. And then the Vipers were just able to run away with it, and the Sharks could not recover. Okay, and then the second matchup of the weekend was the Bears versus the Tigers. Tigers were able to shut out the Bears in the first quarter, but that was not enough. And then the ball started rolling, and the Bears got 13, 20, and 14 to end the last 3 quarters, ending the game 47-37. Bears over the Tigers. William Hillard had a very good day as well, as always, and Blaine Strickland also had a really good day on, like we're talking about MVP consideration. He had 3 catches for 3 touchdowns, which is absolutely extremely impressive. And Bill Morris played really well as well. And Tigers' Evan Watkins was struggling all game to get the whole team involved. 37 points seems like a lot of points, but that is below the average for the lowest scoring team in the league. There's only 8 teams, but still, the lowest team is averaging 40 points, so 37 or anything under 40 is a very good shutdown, I guess. Can be considered a shutdown or considered a slowdown at least. Bears beat the Tigers 47 to 37, and then the last matchup for the weekend was the Lions versus the Wolverines. And the Lions were able to beat the Wolverines. They scored 21 points in the first quarter, I believe going up 21-0, or they were up 28-7. I'm not too sure what it was, but the Lions doing what the Lions do. And they go up big and they go up early, scoring 21 points in the first quarter, making the Wolverines completely change their game plan and go into the scheme that the Lions wanted them to. They did not want them to run the ball with Jesse Bonds, for sure, so they wanted to make the Wolverines throw it and put the ball in the quarterback's hand, Tiny Thomas, of the Wolverines, because they felt like he couldn't get it done, and they were right. Wolverines' Tiny Thomas struggled on the day, only getting one passing touchdown, which is the lowest in CSFL history. No one has ever thrown no touchdowns, and no one has ever thrown one. I believe 2 is the lowest ever. So now the lowest ever, never ever is Tiny Thomas throwing 1 touchdown in a game. Is a never ever now, and even though I believe Tiny Thomas also has the record for most touchdowns in a game. Oh no, that's Anquan Seymour. Sorry, Anquan Seymour has 7 touchdowns, and Tiny Thomas has 1 touchdown in a game. So 48-35, Lions beat the Wolverines, and what a heck of a match that was. And now I know you're like, he can't make us wait any longer, can he? He can't make us wait any longer, right? All right, well, here's the first matchup. Fantasy, we're getting right into the fantasy playoff matchups for the weekend. And first matchup is the 2nd seed Spartans versus the 3rd seed Hate Club. And this is how it played out. Spartans score 139 points. And Hate Club scores 149 points. So congratulations to Hate Club beating the Spartans. Number 1, great performance by Hate Club, able to pull it off. First thing when you look at Hate Club, look at Anquan Seymour doing it again. 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, ending with 42 fantasy points. Anquan Seymour is like clockwork. He just just put up his average, and that was a great game for him. And then Phil Clemens got 3 touchdowns, 149 yards, which is lower on a lower scale for him, ending with 33 fantasy points, which is no slouch about that, that's for sure. That was a great performance by him, but we're definitely used to seeing him in the high 30s or the 40s, if not higher, for fantasy points, but still able to get it done. Then again, Blaine Strickland, one of the MVPs for the Week 6 playoff run. Blaine Strickland with 3 catches, 161 yards, and 3 touchdowns, ending with 37 fantasy points, big from his number 1 wide receiver. Then Darren Linton had 5 catches for 94 yards, not able to get his 100 or a touchdown, still ends with 14 fantasy points. Woody Gordon, 3 catches, 40 yards, ends with 7 fantasy points, and Lawyer Wilkerson ends with a big 0, but Casey Buckley, 5 catches, 114 yards with that 16 right at the end there was just enough for him to win it. And I believe Casey Buckley caught a really deep pass right at the end of the Wolverines game versus the Lions. He caught a really deep pass, did not go in the end zone, fell short of the end zone, but I believe that pass may have been the pass that brought him to the championship game. And then looking at the Spartans dropping to 3-3 and are out of the playoffs, Evan Watkins, 342 yards and only 2 touchdowns, ending with 25 fantasy points, 2nd worst quarterback of the week, just above Tiny Thomas. He struggled all game, and the Spartans rely on the Tigers way too much for them to have a bad game, and that's what happened. the Tigers struggled to get in the ball game passing, like in the passing game, should I say, and it really hurt the Spartans. But look at Darren Page doing everything that he could to try to keep the Spartans in it. 237 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, a catch for 17 yards, ending with 43 fantasy points. Really good job by Darren Page, who was also considered for the MVP of the week. And then Jamal Olsen, 5 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown, finishing with 20 fantasy points. Brent Givens, 4 catches, 79 yards, and 11 points is what he finished with. Is not enough, not going to cut it from your number 2. Rick Martin, who has been really consistent most of the year, does find the end zone, but is unable to really get many catches or many yards. Only 3 catches, 38 yards, and a touchdown. Only has 12 fantasy points, which is again not enough. Juwan, I said Julian before, I believe, but Juwan Rucker, 5 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown, finishing with 19 fantasy points. And then tight end number 84, Andre Hillard, 4 catches for 53 yards, 9 points. Not enough. Good job, Spartans. See you next year, and congratulations to Hate Club. You're going to the championship game. Now, let's see who Hate Club is going to play. Number 1, the next matchup is the number 1 seed Favorites versus the number 4 seed Impact Players. So let's see who goes to the championship to play Hate Club for the title of the CSFFL Season 1 champion. So let's take a look at it with no further delay, besides me saying further delay. Here we are. Boom. Favorites able to score 161 points, but Impact Players scoring 170 points and wins the ball game. So congratulations to Impact Players. I know he's watching this and jumping up and down right now. And Favorites, good job going 4-1, the number 1 seed, but losing the first round of the playoffs. Derek Albright, 5 touchdowns, 44 points. William Hillard does not let her down, gets 36 from number 36. William Hillard, 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. Sleepy Garrett also had a great day. They both scored 160 plus points, so that's a lot of points from 7 players. Sleepy Garrett finishes with 37 points, 143 yards, 5 catches, and 3 big touchdowns. Des Edwards, 6 catches, 113 yards, a touchdown, plus 21 rushing yards, which is strange to see. It's the first time he's done that all year. I believe he caught a screen pass behind the line of scrimmage that they considered a run or a backwards pass, ending with 25 fantasy points. And then Chester Manley lets her down with 3 catches for only 14 yards and 4 points. And John Waters also only getting 1 point on 1 catch and 0 yards. But tight end number 82, John Anderson, got 3 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown, 14 points, but it just wasn't enough. So close though. Would have beat anybody else this week except for Impact Players. And Impact Players goes to the championship game. Congratulations, Impact Players. Mr. Thursday Night Impact Players has had the last 2 or 3 weeks had someone score, I believe, over 40 points on the Thursday night game, and he does it again in the playoffs. Josh Buchanan, look at him. He's probably going to win Week 6 MVP. He got 54 big fantasy points there, 6 catches, 249 yards, which may be a record, actually. I was thinking about that as we were talking here. I think the record for receiving yards is 238. Don't quote me on that. 238 yards, I believe, is the record for most receiving yards. I'm going to have to look into that. If you're watching, look into it for me too. But he ended with 249 receiving yards. I believe that is the most ever. So that's crazy to think about right there. Then Tyler Glover does not let Impact Players down either. Throws 5 big touchdowns, 390 yards, ending with 45 fantasy points, even though 3 of them went to Sleepy Garrett. Tiki Carter, sneaky Tiki Carter, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus 2 catches for 52 yards, 31 fantasy points is what he ends with. And Keon Turner definitely did not live up to his potential. 4 catches for 40 yards, only 8 fantasy points, which is definitely not enough from your first #1 receiver. But Edgar Plummer, 3 catches, 85 yards, and a touchdown, finishes with 17 points, and then Josh Buchanan carried the team. Then Rashad Pleasant, only 3 catches for 33 yards, ending with 6 fantasy points, and then Elijah Lloyd with that 4 catches and 51 yards, 9 points. It's a 9-point win. I don't know. That's really close, but I believe it was Keon Turner, actually, because Keon Turner was his last player to play, and he won by 9, which meant he was already up by 1, and then Keon Turner got him 8. So I'm not too sure if Brittany had, or Favorites had someone playing in the Lions and Scorpions game, but I don't think she did. Anyways, congratulations to Impact players. You're going to the championship game. And let's, now that we've taken a look at the 2 matchups, let's take a look at the championship game. Hate Club versus Impact players for the big cojones, for the bragging rights, for the everything, for it all. Hate Club versus Impact players, and here's the matchup. We'll release later on in the week what teams are actually playing each other, what those matchups are, which will really determine who we think is going to win this championship game. But congratulations, no matter what, to Hate Club and Impact players. Congratulations to making it here. And we'll see who gets away or walks away with the championship here. But it's hard to say who, right? Because look at Hate Club. You know, like, let me know who you think is going to win the championship game in the comments below or in our Discord channel. If you want to join the league next season, we got in 2 weeks from now, we're starting another season. If you want to join or know someone that wants to join, ask one of the members of the league or join our Discord in the description below, or email sffl.info@gmail.com. But when you look at these 2 teams, who do you think is going to win? When I look at these 2 teams, we're at 18 minutes, so I'll give us another 2 minutes and then we'll cut the video. But when I'm looking at it, I see Anquan Seymour, which is playing out of his mind, head and shoulders above every other quarterback. And then Phil Clemens is the best running back right now, besides William Hillard. So, you know, it's really hard to see Impact players beating Hate Club. The thing is that Hate Club's got 2 really, really good receivers, maybe even, you know, 2 of the top 3 best receivers they have on their team, with Edgar Plummer and Josh Buchanan. And then they just need a little bit out of Tyler Glover and Tiki Carter, but he's relying on a lot of different teams because a lot of his players are on different teams, Impact players, where Hate Club has it's limited to a few teams, and he's really reliant on Phil Clemens. But look at Anquan Seymour is going to be throwing to his Josh Buchanan, so that matchup right there, we're going to see how many go to Josh Buchanan from Anquan Seymour, because that's his favorite target for sure. Any other matchups that I can see crossing? I don't see any other matchups crossing, but besides that, good luck to everybody, or good luck to Hate Club and Impact players, and thank you out to everybody else that is watching, and to everybody else that has participated in this season. Good luck in the draft coming up, and keep in mind what happens and what these teams did and what happened, to see, if you can implement that into your game, to your fantasy, because this is the great fantasy practice for you. Also, to keep in mind, another little funny stat before I let you go, is that Impact players and Hate Club are the first and second picks in the draft. Hate Club had the first pick overall, Impact players had the 2nd pick overall. So I'll leave you with that little bit of info, and have yourselves a great week. Thanks for watching the recap show, and we'll see you soon on the pre-game show for the championship game. Good luck, everyone. Have a great day.